start a whole new session today. Did you not hear the parliament say that there's a new agenda? It starts at when we adjourn this thing. We starts fresh again this afternoon.
Right.
And upon adjournment, if we start again upon adjournment, it is still a new agenda.
So she'd have to make a new motion.
Everything has to start over again. The only thing that doesn't change is the rules of the House. The rules of the House are set. If there's an issue with some members about the rules of the House, I suggest they go to the Rules Committee and see if they can get the change. We're operating on the rules of the House, period. We've always done that way. We're going to continue to do that.
You said the committee could refer out more than one proposal, but is the committee doing its job if it doesn't pick every proposal, if it just sends out multiple proposals?
It's called persuasion, the power of persuasion. I persuade you today to like me, and tomorrow Andrew persuades you not to like me. That's just called politics 101, or just the way business operates, isn't it?
So you're saying they could be narrowed down after they get out of the committee?
No, there's no narrowing down. Y'all are getting constitutional issues, process the constitutional referrals, completely mingling it with the normal process of legislative bills. You're trying to pile everything in and have a special meeting and listen to everything. That's not the way the system works. The only thing that works like that is the constitutional amendments. And if you were there yesterday, the House has their rules that they go by, and we found out the Senate doesn't have the same rules. So they operated yesterday on their rules. We operate on our rules. And in that little blue book that has several hundred pages is the rules of the House. And the rules of the House says you have a bill, and when it's called up to run, you go to the end of the table and you run your bill. If you get a do pass and 11 people on that committee votes for it, it's a recommendation. It's not all it does is recommend that this bill be passed. It goes to the body. If 51 members of the body votes for it, then it becomes sent to the Senate. If the Senate does the same thing, if they pass it out, it goes to the governor. But tomorrow, the next day, somebody else could do the same thing and track a bill right on through and pass it out. And if the governor signed it on the last day, that would be the law. That's simple.
Is that realistic that would happen?
It's happened before here. It happened 2 years ago. We had a bill that went through, and then they found out there were some issues with it, and they did another bill with the same title and changed the whole wording. Went through the committee, went through the whole system. The governor signed it. It superseded the bill he'd signed 3 days earlier.
But isn't that usually what you're referring to is usually for correcting errors in bills and things like that. But when's the last time y'all have that, or any committee has passed out multiple bills that are in opposition to each other? Because it seems like the analogy would be if I guess 2 years ago, if there had been a committee that passed out something setting up the state lottery and also passed out a bill that prevented the state from setting up the state lottery. Have you all ever done that where you have just diametrically opposed
not
bills
in the
like
committees that I've been in, but I don't know if it's happened to other committees. I've just seen 2 committees of many, of several, so I don't know if they've done that in other committees or not.
But don't you see this as the same thing as passing diametrically opposed bills? Not bills that are follow bills as cleanup.
I would say observation of some bills that have been passed in the body in the assembly, it contradicts each other to some extent on some issues. So, power of persuasion. Just persuade enough people to vote for your way is what it's all about.
Sorry if it's already been asked. What all proposals are you going to consider this afternoon, and do you have maps for all those proposals?
I'm not the sponsor of any of these bills. I'm not a sponsor. This is not a constitutional amendment.
Okay.
This is a legislative process. If you have a bill, and of course the bill's already, if you have a bill filed and you're ready to run your bill, you have a right to run your bill when it calls up. Simple. Is that not true?
Sure. I was just asking, inquiring, is there any, what proposals are scheduled to be run this afternoon? I honestly don't know.
I have no clue. We're going to go right down the agenda, the new agenda, and whichever bill is ready and wants to run it, they get a right to run it.
We require maps for those.
I don't require anything. I require that the person go down to the end of that table and present his bill. He gets questions from the committee. At the end of that, if he gets a due pass, then he gets to, and he gets 11 votes. It gets recommended out of this body. I mean, it's just like any other bill that's ever been filed in this body. It's no different. Now, it may have implications, but I disagree. I think every bill we pass in this body and signed by the governor has implications, great implications on the welfare and the future of the state. So saying one has weighted heavier than the other, I think the only one that weighs heavier in the body is the constitutional amendments, and we took care of that yesterday.
I thought you were the sponsor at 1836. You're listed as the sponsor.
I am the sponsor, but I'm the sponsor. I got several here I'm sponsoring. I got.
But 1836 is the one that there was the amendment.
Name on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but you were saying earlier you're not the sponsor of it, so I just want to make sure.
I'm the original sponsor. I'm not running it.
Okay. Cheatham is running it.
Eddie Cheatham's going to run it for me, but okay. I've had several bills down here that was handled by other members. That I was the sponsor, or I had.
Has Representative Cheatham indicated to you he plans to run that this afternoon?
I have not talked to Representative Cheatham. Y'all was here. We did not talk. Anything else?
You said you had a couple other bills a couple other redistricting bills that you're also the sponsor of. You said you haven't personally run some of the other ones. Do you plan on personally running any of the redistricting bills with your name on them?
I'm leaving my options open.
Good enough.
Well, was there any? I guess was there anyone who had approached you about running it today? Was there a reason why you think it needs to be done today?
We have approximately a week and a half left. If they don't get these bills in and get them out and get something passed, I'd hate to leave here and wind up in court trying to get the court to determine boundary lines. That does no one any good, period.
So basically just the timing, just hitting the end of the session.
The timing is, these bills have got to move forward. We're leaving, the plans are to leave on April the 1st. And we got to move these bills out that has this weighted, and certainly these bills are weighted. And when they get them ready, they can run them.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.